Hello everybody. For those that don't know, I am Summer Jacobs, and recently within the last 2 days my LinkedIn has blown up with a lot of support, a lot of hate, a lot of comments. I exposed the situation in which I experienced racism during an interview, and I think that it's important for me to respond to all of the comments because I really won't be able to respond to each person, but I want you to know that I am beyond grateful for all of the people that have supported me through this difficult time, this difficult journey, in order to understand that being African American in this field is not easy. Being a woman in this field is also not easy. But what I must continue to do is to embrace who I am and be sure of who I am moving forward when I do choose to work at a particular station, work in a particular field, work at any job. I need to remain certain with who I am. So I would like to actually react because I did just tell the story in which the interview took place, and let everybody know where I felt attacked. So if you have not read the interview post with WANE 15, I encourage you to read that so you're not lost throughout this entire video. But I would like to start by saying I went into the interview dressed for success, ready to get my job, because I just knew it was my job, and I knew that my hard work would have paid off during a time like this. I knew that this was for me. I was going to be close to my grandparents. I was going to be in an area in which I felt close enough to home, but I can get to family if I needed to be. So that was one reason that I did look at WANE 15. I'm also prepared for this position. I went in for a MMJ position, and the interview was about being a producer. That was not the goal, but that is what happened. Throughout the entire interview, I was uncertain of why certain questions were being asked to me. I was asked simple questions like, how are you doing? How's your day? Things that didn't matter, just questions you have to ask. And after that, the very first question was, tell me about what you've been doing. And during that time, I talked about things that were on my resume. I announced that I did graduate in May, so I'm still in the job hunting process. And we also talked about a little bit of everything on my resume, what I wanted to do, what were my goals for the future. But after that, we talked about change. And she said, what does change mean to you? She said, how do you deal with change? We just kept talking about change. I think about 4 questions involved change, and I answered the question as best as I could. I also just felt like the question was only about changing, in the sense that maybe a story presents itself during a time in which I had not been prepared. Maybe nighttime, I'm asleep, it's breaking news, it's something of that nature. I need to get up right now and deal with the situation. So at this point, my answer was focused around work and answering the questions based off of just this position and not my appearance. It wasn't until somebody reached out to me after I made the post, and she's also an African American woman, and she stated that she was also asked about change. And her story is a little bit different from mine, but along the same lines, that I should have paid that part of the interview a lot more attention. Moving forward, after the change conversation, we talked about consistency. And she said, would you be able to provide consistency? That's pretty much a very broad question. And if you're like, consistency, I want you to ask yourself, would you be able to provide consistency? Consistency with what? What would I provide consistency with? So I'll follow up with a question. Consistency in what? Her response was your hair. At this very moment, I felt like, you know, when all the tears rush to your face, your throat start hurting. I just couldn't believe what she had just said to me. I just knew this wasn't happening to me. So I took a split second, because I don't think it was a full second from the time that I processed what she said to the time that I started speaking. So I actually just kind of, I want to say it's like a hiccup with no air and words coming out. So a dramatic pause, trying to respond as myself. I did say I could not provide her any consistency. And no African American woman can provide you any consistency. I gave her a few examples about if I have a flat iron and it rains outside, then my hair will poof up. Or if I have a slick ponytail and it rains outside, I have to go deal with that. If it's hot outside, like, you know, if you're African American girl, your hair is a lot to deal with. And if you're not, we're not able to deal with our hair as easy as other people are, other races or anybody else. But no matter what, that should not be a problem as long as I'm presentable. And I define presentable as coming in a natural hair color. I would also define it as, you know, if you choose to wear your curls, making sure, you know, they're put together. Your style is your style. Your hair is your hair. If you want to rock a low cut, you want to rock a long hair, that is completely on you. And as long as it's a natural color, I just really can't see a problem with how you come. So I did have a hard time taking in all of what she said, but I knew that I had to complete the interview because at this point, I'm an African American woman. I'm in an interview. I have a degree. I'm qualified for this position. You've disrespected me. I've informed you. I can move on past this, but I know at this point this job is not for me. This job is for nobody that looks like me. And she goes on to say that the other African Americans at the station provide consistency and they don't have a problem doing it. No. At that point, I don't want to talk about another African American. I'm going to stand up for myself because I know what you're saying is incorrect. Not saying that nobody else can stand up for themselves, and not saying that anybody did not see a problem or maybe they did not have the same experiences as I did. But right now, you're not about to tell me about my hair. You're not about to push me away because of what somebody else is doing, when in reality what you're saying is incorrect and it's wrong. So moving forward, she didn't say anything else until the end of the interview, and another man jumped in which I wish I knew his name, but I do not know his name. And he completely changes the topic. We get to the end of the interview and she says, well, do you have any questions for us, Summer? No, I don't have any questions for you, but I do have something to say. I did express to her that I felt disrespected. I was disappointed. I was uncomfortable in this whole situation. She did not even seem sympathetic. She didn't seem like she cared. It seemed like at this point she was rushing. The interview was about to end. She could care less. She didn't care from the beginning because after I expressed myself, she didn't choose to apologize. She didn't choose to restate what she said. She did not choose to reword anything or say, you've misunderstood me. I let her know 2 times during this interview the way that I felt, and nothing had changed. So from that point, I chose to present the problem on LinkedIn. I am really grateful for all of the people that did comment, that did reach out to me, that did send motivational messages, that told me about their story, that told me that they've had similar issues with this particular station, that told me they've had issues with this particular woman that were just like myself. And surprisingly, all of them were just like myself. All of them. So I make the post, and with all the feedback, I knew that I've heard about this. I knew that I heard about this issue, but I didn't understand the severity and the impact that it truly had on how you choose to move forward. I want to say that it's easy for me to move forward, but I am a little nervous. But I know that I worked hard to get to where I am now, to keep going. This was a lot for me to take in. Wow, I do also understand you gotta go through something. I wish it wasn't this in order to really value where you get. Upon landing a job and being where I want to look back at this situation, and I want to be that person that influence other people in similar situations to keep going, to not give up. I've had a couple people tell me that in this situation they chose to take a different career path because they felt like this one isn't for me. But I'm here to tell you that it is for me, and I know it's for me. And although it may not be an easy journey, I am ready to take on all that comes with it. I made this video to be transparent, to let other people know that it's okay to be different, and going through the interview process is not the easiest. Also made this video for the people that felt like they could speak on something that doesn't pertain to them. I made this to be very transparent and to let you know that, yeah, my feelings are hurt, but I accept my reality, and I know what I am. I think that the problem is you know what you are, but you're not willing to admit it. That's not just for the people in the interview. That is for the people that have chosen to send me very rude, disrespectful messages, and also send me messages in which you've commented underneath my original post in defense of a person that was completely wrong, but on the back end you choose to side with me or try to gain an understanding or even be sympathetic. I need that apology to be as loud as that disrespect. So, thank you everybody for reaching out to me via LinkedIn, Facebook, Snapchat, text message, email. I'm okay. I'm doing as well as anybody in this position can do. But most importantly, I know how far I've come, and I owe it to myself. I owe it to anybody that looks like me. I owe it to my family to not give up, to not stop here. And I'm grateful that I experienced what I experienced, and I didn't make home someplace that did not accept me. And as I conclude this video today, I would like to inform you that yes, I am a licensed cosmetologist. I've been a licensed cosmetologist since the age of 18. I own my own hair growth product, and I've been selling it for the last 3 years. So I must say this topic did hit home very hard for me. But not only did it hit home, I'm very knowledgeable about the topic. So, thank y'all.